actually said what the Kinos Torah actually said. So then the whole question here is really not understood at all, because the question was, we see by Chulin that when we have a Reiv and a suffix, we go after the Reiv and not after the suffix. Even though it's a suffix, a Reiv is machir the suffix. So actually that's very good. That's Kinos Torah is saying that whenever the Torah told us that something has to be a mamzer vadeh, then a Reiv won't make it not a mamzer vadeh. That's only in cases when the Torah says something meferish. But over here, when the Torah doesn't say it openly, so a Reiv is machir the suffix. Everyone see the difference?
Yeah.
Yes. As pretty much the same guard. The same guard is also used in Shittim basically basically there's a whole question in Bava Metzia, like someone's doing meister on all those animals, and then one of the animals jumped back inside and comes out from the urine, so you can't use it again to taste. That's the question, because it's ready to put from meister taste. That's the question. Let it come bottle and let it come bottle and brave taste goes whole thing. So Shittim brings out an answer that taste Rush says that at the end of the day it's still, we know the Siri, the 10th animal has to be a Siri, and we say a Siri Vadeh and not a Siri Safik. So it says at the end of the day, even if you use Reiv, at the end of the day it won't be a Siri Vadeh. Which is the same thing as the Kinos Torah is really saying the same thing, and saying that Reiv won't work when we need to have a Siri Vadeh, Mamzer Vadeh. And so actually in our Sugya, closer to Sugya, you left them off. Someone asked the Akiva Eiger a question that he brings, basically a question comes up on the same Akiva Eiger. Go. Okay, I'll just have to bring one more thing in before I say that. There's one more example at the.
Take your time so you can understand.
Right. One last example. Basically, there's another question that we see. He brought the Shashmash brings one more raya. How we see that a Reiv is not created a suffix.
Who?
Shashmash brings one more raya. We had the Gemara in Girsa, basically that Reiv and Karev. Which one do we go after? And so the Gemara makes a case how there was some wine that was found in a karen of Arla, and Nanya made it mutter. So the Gemara wants to say maybe we see that he holds you go after Reiv and Karev, you go after Reiv. You go after Reiv. Because even though the Karev was Arla, but Reiv places are not Arla. So Tesis over there entertains the notion he asks, maybe he holds that you go after Karev. And the reason why it's good is because this story happened in Chutz La'aretz. And in Chutz La'aretz, then is a suffix Arla is mutter. So why is Gemara saying that he must hold that you go after Reiv? But if you go after Karev, it will be bad. Maybe he goes after Karev, and it's still good because it's in Chutz La'aretz and a suffix okay. A suffix of Arla and Chutz La'aretz is Lakul. So what's the proof? So Tesis answers. He says because if you would hold that you go after Karev, it wouldn't help you the fact that it's in Chutz La'aretz. Why not? Because if you go after Karev, then it will be a Vadeh. Then it will be Vadeh Arla. That's what he says. So Shashmash says, we see the same thing over here. We see whenever the Torah makes something mutter, a suffix which is mutter is only when you don't have something going against it. When you don't have a Reiv pointing in a direction which is saying it's asur. In other words, if you have a suffix which Torah says mutter, but there's a Reiv or there's a Karev pointing and saying that it's bad, then it would have been asur, like this it says. So we see again that Reiv is not a suffix. That this type of suffix is mutter is only when you don't have a Reiv or any other indications on the contrary. That's the second question on it. But based on like what we just said, that's not a question. Because only when the Torah says something, Kinos Torah agrees, of course you go after Reiv. That's only when you don't have a limit that's saying Beferish, a Siri Vadeh, or a Mamzer Vadeh. But all the cases you go after Reiv. And so that's what Akiva Eiger, son asked him on this Rush, which says that it's not a Siri Vadeh. That even if it's about the Reiv, won't be a Siri Vadeh. He asked for another case that we see that in the case when you have 9 frogs and 1 sheret in Rosh Yachid or in some place, and so basically the din is you go after Reiv, and he's tar Vadeh, even though suffix Tumah Rosh Yachid is tummy. Nevertheless, we use the Reiv, and we say that you're tar Vadeh. So we see Reiv. So we see over there that Reiv is a Vadeh thing. We see Reiv is a Vadeh thing because suffix normally is tummy Rosh Yachid, and it's tummy din Vadeh. That means that you could burn truma that got touched by such a thing. You can't burn truma for no reason. And nevertheless, what do we do with Reiv? We say that it's Tara Vadeh. And so the question was, according to the Shittim Betzah, says that even if we would come batal, it still would be a Siri suffix. So that would be a question there. over here you're saying that Reiv is not Vade, and over there that Reiv is Vade. So Akiva Eiger answers, he says that that's no question, because it's two separate things, like Yeshua says. He says that the difference is when we have a Lum before us. When we have the Shiluk Bas, the Rosh is talking about when it says Asiri Vade, that the Trum has to be, that the Mais has to be Asiri Vade. So even if you say Bittul B'Rav, this and that, Batal B'Rav, at the end of the day it's not Asiri Vade. The Torah wanted Vade 100%, we can't rely on any Reiv or anything else. So that's why it's not the same thing. And so, Akiva Eiger goes on to explain, and that's why it's not a question. You shouldn't ask on the Shiluk Bas. It's a question from what Tessa says over here, we just had, that if Rav Hanani would have held that you go after Karev, then it would have been the Vade Erla. We see that Reiv is Mechira Safik, B'Torah Vade makes it Vade bad. He says, because it's also not the same thing. Over there, Reiv would make it bad, Reiv would make it like a Vade bad, because we don't have any limit from a pasuk that it has to be 100%. So, basically, both cases that prove that a Reiv is Mechira Safik, which seemingly is a contradiction to what Yeshua was saying, that a suffix is still considered a suffix even when it is Reiv. It's not a problem, because there's a difference when we have when it says, when Torah told specifically Kach and Kach, when Torah doesn't say it specifically. We just know it has to be the way, but we learned it out from Allah or anything else, but we don't have a Lashon, a Siri Vade, a Drasha, and different things.